And I go there because, I'm a native San Franciscan, right? It's my natal day, and I figure I'm kind of indigenous to San Francisco. I mean, well, compared to a tourist, right? I'm a native son. So I go in there, and someone forgot to tell me that when the Blue Angels have Fleet Week, it is a major parking nightmare is too small a term. It's an Armageddon. Well, Joe Biden uses terms like Armageddon. It's not parking Armageddon. It's there. There's no parking in the best of times in San Francisco. Generally, right? In normal times. But you bring the Blue Angels, which is kind of like a tourist magnet to the city. I mean, they weren't all there for my birthday. I mean, it wasn't like a mass singing of happy birthday. But I go there and I'm trying to go to my favorite vegan restaurant, and there are absolutely zero parking spaces. Not in the lot, not on the street. I thought I had to resort to what I did when I moved out of the city. You just keep driving east or west or north or south until you find a parking space. That's how I wound up, practically in Nevada, right? But so I just kept driving, and then, we had this table, we had reserved it, and I thought, I'll drop my wife off, and these people were meeting. I'll find a spot. They'll find a spot. Hopefully, they call me and say, "We don't have any parking." Oh my goodness! No one has parking in the city. Finally, I do the fail-safe. Look, like a good Catholic Filipino, I do the sign of the cross. There it is. I get a parking space, and then I tell my friends to pick me up, and we'll go somewhere. We'll try to do it again with them. I think they're lapsed Catholics, but maybe the sign of the cross will work for them. It does not. But we drive past the Marina Middle School, and they're having a fundraiser. They have this vast concrete schoolyard that they don't use on the weekends. It's this vast open space, and someone had a bright idea. Hey, let's have a fundraiser. We'll charge people for parking. And boy, did they. $50. Oh, but it's tax, whatever, a write-off. It's a fundraiser for San Francisco public school, for a public school that has a lot of Asian Americans, Emil. Okay, $50. $50 for parking. But it gave me a better idea for the city. These vast spaces at public schools, unused on the weekends. Why not let these spaces, or allow these spaces to be used by homeless people? Yeah, those are the people who can't afford the $5,000 for a studio apartment kind of rent. Rents are going up. I mean, I saw a number of apartments. I said, well, look, we live out here practically in Nevada, but we could have a little pied-à-terre in San Francisco. And my wife said, well, yeah, maybe, but, probably like $10,000 or something. I don't know. It's some outrageous price. But why don't they use these spaces like they're concrete, but, you put a couple porta potties and you open these spaces and you say people can use them at night, and then they get shuffled off in the morning because, in the morning you got to prepare to look for work. I mean that. Is that so far-fetched? You open up these schoolyard, these empty schoolyards. People can sleep there between 8 o'clock at night and 6 in the morning, and then you shove them off and say, you guys got to go now, and you can sleep in the schoolyard free, but you got to clean up, and you got to leave by 6 so that the school children can get the schoolyard, and you take your stuff because you got to go find work today. That's the deal. I think that, this homeless thing, it's one of the problems with San Francisco, right? Problem with major metro areas. Anyway, that's what $50 for parking made me think about yesterday as I was driving around San Francisco. We park the car, we go to the restaurant. It's just like a 10-minute walk. We have lunch. It's a marvelous lunch. It's totally vegan. It was a great birthday. And many of you went on Facebook. That's the value of social media, right? To greet the guy, in this case me, greet him and say happy birthday on social media. How wonderful. You don't have to see him and talk to him. You can just type at him, hey, haven't seen you in a while. There's good reason for that. No, you just say, hey, happy birthday, and just be nice. This is the highest and best use of social media, to say happy birthday to people you haven't talked to in ages and kind of don't know why. You don't, but hey, you should. A friend of mine, Nolan, said hi. I haven't talked to Nolan in a while. My friend Ian, I guess he was busy being a hurricane for a couple days. He went on social media and said, hey. And I said, hey back. I said, let's hey back sometime soon. And he put something in there today. Maybe we will. My friend David out in Washington, haven't seen him in a while. I had, who else? I had another friend that were plotting something in Boston. I won't say his name because, who knows? Maybe the Chinese government is listening in. Wouldn't want them to figure out anything. Anyway, so I heard from him, and the plot thickens. Heard from who else? A ton of people. And if I don't get my friend David, I know a lot of Davids. David is of Melody fame, and he just acknowledged. That's cool too. Anyone who went on my social media networks and said happy birthday, I want to acknowledge, because that is the highest and best use of social media, despite what people say. It's not, so you can take down someone or troll someone no, it's so that you can say happy birthday to people you don't really necessarily want to see in person. But hey, I'm thinking of you. That's all we want. We just want to know you're thinking of us. That's the good thing. And I went on social media and I said, for each and every person, that I can unnest on my screen, I will wish you back. I will thank you and say a nice personal story about you. Maybe I won't go that far, but I will say something. I'll acknowledge you and thank you. My editor, one of my editors, Renee, thank you. Wish me a happy birthday. I wish him a happy birthday. I wish you all a happy birthday. I love that feature in social media. So I'm just doing a little now, and you got to stay to the end. But it's a good show today because, all right, we already talked about the birthday. The birthday was good. I bought I bought a pair of pants. That, they look like hiking pants, but you can wear them in a business situation when you have to contort yourself to get out of a very tight squeeze. They come gusseted. People who know pants know what a gusset is. If I ever come up to you and say, hey, do you want to see my gusset? You can decline tastefully. That's fine. But anyway, I bought these pants, and so overall, fed to the gills in good vegan food, found parking, got back home, and wouldn't you know, it was 64 degrees in San Francisco, and back where I am, practically in Nevada, it's 90 degrees. It was great. And I said, this is why I don't live in the city. But most of all, I was reminded by the Blue Angels. The Blue Angels are always around my birthday, right? That's Fleet Week. I'm on record saying I'm against Fleet Week. I'm on record saying I don't like Fleet Week. When I get to Fleet Week, no, it's pretty amazing because it's loud. It's eardrum popping. I'm holding my wife's hand and I'm thinking, oh, I'm getting kind of romantic here. I'm holding her hand. And the thunder is so loud, she takes her hand away. And I'm thinking, oh, what happened? I'm holding her. And she has to put her hands over her ears because it's so loud. So the thing is, it reminds you of the kind of saber rattling that's going on right now in the world. There's saber rattling going on in, between North Korea and South Korea and the United States over there. Everyone's doing a drill. North Korea has their missiles launching beyond Guam. They're flexing their muscles. South Korea, they're flexing over Guam. They're flexing over Japan. South Korea and the United States, they're doing, we're doing drills. Then, of course, in Russia's upset about that bridge, so they started striking Ukraine, saying, oh, this is for striking down that bridge to Crimea. Everyone is saber rattling. And when you are in San Francisco, ostensibly for a good time, and you can hear the saber rattling, it does one thing. It just makes you want peace. You want peace. I want peace. I just couldn't believe how loud it was. I've always been on record. I never, even when I lived in the city, never went to Fleet Week. When I was covering San Francisco as a reporter, never went to Fleet Week. Always managed to miss Fleet Week. And I understand. And here's the thing. It was all clouds. You could not see the Blue Angels. You thought I was walking and I'd see some pigeons flying or gulls, and I'd hear these sounds, the thunderous, I'm Tom Cruise kind of sounds. And, I guess it would be Tom Cruise flatulence or something. And I would think, oh my God, those birds are loud. And it's because you could not see the Blue Angels. They were not visible. They were in the clouds. The overcast spoiled the view for people who were in the marina. And you can hear them, but it was, I just thought, what's the big deal? And people were flocking. You could not find a parking space. Now, that was one thing. They were there to see the Blue Angels, but some of them were there for the Columbus Day Parade in San Francisco. There are a lot of Italians in San Francisco around North Beach and the marina. There's a Columbus Day Parade today in New York. I've got something to say about that later. But generally speaking, I was happy about my birthday, but the thunder and the noise of the Blue Angels, I never got it. Still don't get it. Went home out where I am, practically in Nevada, thinking, my God, this is why I just like a sense of peace, a sense of quiet, and I got it. For my birthday. All right, so I'll mention more names toward the end of the show. In the meantime, welcome to Emil Amok's Takeout, my takes on all things considerable. This is my mini talk show for the AAPI and the AAXs. Oh, I heard from my friend Adam Powell. Adam Powell said hi. I mean, we're cool. Birthday buddies is cool. And he said, hey, what do you think about KGO? I don't know what happened to KGO. I used to work at KGO Radio when I first started in radio in the 80s. It's hard to believe that it's gone, but they're doing something else. The speculation is that they're going to turn it into some kind of gambling pay per airtime kind of thing. They're going to sell, it's going to be one big 50,000 watt ad, which is not exactly the highest and best use for a 50,000 watt clear channel radio station, but they couldn't sell it with regular programming. It's sad because this is the way radio's gone. Radio's gone digital, radio's gone podcast, radio's gone everything but the way of Marconi. And it's sad. Anyway, I heard from just a lot of friends, like my friend Adam. I will talk more about those friends. Let me say this. Coming up, I'll talk about this today, Monday the 10th, is IP Day. You know IP Day, right? IP, UP, everyone P. Indigenous Peoples Day, IP Day. Talk about that in a second. But first, I want to mention my friend who is his foundation, the Before Columbus Foundation, has the American Book Awards. Ishmael Reed, novelist, poet, playwright. He's got a new play called The Conductor. You know, I've talked about it a lot. If you haven't seen it, or of course you couldn't have seen it because it opens on Wednesday the 13th or Thursday the 13th. The 13th, Friday the 14th, Saturday the 15th, Sunday the 16th. And guess what? I'm in it. I have a very, very small part. But my part is I play how's this for a stretch? I play a news commentator. Although I don't play a kind, gentle, compassionate, left-oriented commentator. I play a right-wing commentator, sort of like a Tucker Carlson in brownface. Do you have the stomach for that? I had to go deep into my acting soul. Anyway, The Conductor is the name of this play. The Theater for the New City.net in New York is putting it on. And it is a reading, a virtual reading that you can buy tickets for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Wow, 4 days. Theater for the New City.net. You can call them at 212-254-1109. 212-254-1109. That's Theater for the New City.net. The Conductor, what is it about? They basically talk about, or the play's about, what happens when the shoe's on the other foot. There's some conservative Indian Americans and Asian Americans who fought to get rid of some progressive school board members for being too woke. And they did. They got him off. But there was an international event at the same time. An international event. There's some wacky prime minister in India who creates an international scene by downing an American spy plane. And Indians are forced to flee America. What? Is that a little far-fetched? No, it's not far-fetched. In fact, Indians are looked down upon in America because of this crazy prime minister of India. And one of the Indian Americans, happens to be one of the leaders of that recall effort. And guess what? Now the shoe's on the other foot, and now the guy who led the recall effort is on the run because he has a more personal connection to this crazy prime minister of India. This is from the mind of Ishmael Reed, who is a satirist, novelist, playwright, poet. You'll learn a lot about history, Asian American history, also African American history, and American history. Check it out. It's called The Conductor, Theater for the New City.net, Thursday, October 13th, Friday the 14th, Saturday the 15th, 8 p.m. or 5 p.m. Pacific, because it's being staged out of New York. It's all virtual, so you can be anywhere in the country. Check out tickets, $18 for tickets. Theater for the New City.net. Phone 254-1109 for the conductor at theaterforthenewcity.net. This week only, theaterforthenewcity.net for the conductor. All right, so I want to push that because it's a fascinating play, and you'll learn a lot about, like I said, Asian American history. Learn about how people of color have been treated, which goes right into our next topic, which is today is IP Day. IP Day, Emil. Come on, you're making me blush a little bit. Yeah, IP Day. Indigenous Peoples Day. Indigenous Peoples Day. That's what they call it. You'll recall last week I talked about how Filipinos in America provided the basis for the racist Dred Scott decision, 1857. That's where a black slave was prevented from suing for his freedom in Missouri. Well, the Chief Justice of the U.S., Roger Taney, based the opinion he wrote, based that bad decision on an opinion he wrote in 1840, where he said that since only white Christians could participate in society, all non-whites were seen as inferior because they could be enslaved and they weren't the race of the masters. And that, man, this one case involving a Filipino in 1840 was extended to all other Asians, all other blacks, people from Africa, indigenous people, anyone else who was non-white and non-Christian. We were all lumped in together and seen as inferior by law. And so I say, given that, is there any reason not to proudly celebrate the Biden administration's declaration of October 10th today as Indigenous Peoples Day, IP Day, today? Definitely, please, IP, UP, we all pee today, please. Now, I know you want probably to revere Columbus as an Italian heritage figure, which is fine if you're Italian or even if you're not. It just doesn't make sense to honor a man who enslaved and brutalized natives in our modern democracy, or enslaved and brutalized natives in America, or as he came to America, this new world. Doesn't make sense to honor him today in our modern democracy. Now, before you say, Emil, so what? Are you saying you're canceling Columbus? And it's a kind of a natural thing. I parked my car at the Marina Middle School parking or schoolyard turned parking lot, and there they have names of all the great figures in history. Archimedes, remember him? Archimedes, what did he do? Archimedes took a bath and said, displacement. Just a little tidbit from junior high, right? I got that from junior. Archimedes loved his bathtub. If in Ishmael Reed's play, to go along with Archimedes, did you know that Euclid was a black man? Yeah, Euclid. I mean, you just took it for granted. He taught you geometry. Oh, well, this must be white man geometry. Euclid. No, he was a black man. One of the many things I learned rehearsing, watching The Conductor, Ishmael Reed's Conductor, October 13th through 18th, this week, theaterforthenewcity.net. Anyway, so no one's canceling Columbus. We're just putting him in his place, which is instead of high and exalted, low, someplace low. And we're just remembering those who were here first. We're displacing Columbus, sort of an Archimedes thing, displacing Columbus, remembering those who were here first. Now, the banks, post offices are closed, but not our hearts and not our minds. And if one must celebrate an Italian figure today, here, you say, Emil, but I'm Italian and I want to celebrate somebody. And, Columbus, maybe not for what he did to the indigenous, but maybe for wearing those pantaloons that he's known for. And that hat, the Columbus hat. and the Columbus Pantaloons. Okay, maybe. But if you want an Italian figure today, why not Raffaele Esposito, said to have invented the pizza for Queen Margherita herself in Naples in 1889. Now that would be someone worthy of celebration. Raffaele Esposito invented pizza for Queen Margherita herself in Naples, 1889. And why, Emil, does your Italian sound like Filipino? Actually, Count Dracula is Filipino. Queen Margherita herself. Look, as I say, I'd parade for that vegan version all day. All day! All right, now maybe if you say, look, I like Columbus because maybe I like that idea of a parade. How about a parade for the undocumented today? Not that you need an excuse to parade, but you could also parade for the semi-documented because they're not totally undocumented once they enter the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals status or the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. They're semi-documented. More than 600,000 people are in that kind of limbo, as DACA, as it's called, gets kicked around in the courts. Recall last week, the Fifth Circuit, the latest, to declare the program illegal. But don't despair. I called some friends. I said, hey, should people be upset with this? And they said, look, if you have DACA status, if you're under DACA, one of the 600,000, there are still options. Relax. Instead, celebrate October as a month that the Hart-Celler Act, aka the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, was signed. That was the law that lifted the racist immigration caps on Asian Americans. This is an example. Filipinos went from essentially nothing to 20,000 immigrants per year. And thus, the Filipino American community was born, 1965. And guess what? It passed by an overwhelming bipartisan Congress. And that's what's needed now, a comprehensive overhaul of the entire immigration system. So massive that by comparison, giving DACA recipients a pathway to citizenship would seem like the proverbial low-hanging fruit. Yes, they don't want to give comprehensive immigration and nationalization, but hey, you might as well pass DACA. That's a compromise. I don't know how the politics play out, but we got to move toward comprehensive overhaul because that's the only way that everyone is going to be happy. So instead of waiting for the courts to put either a bow or a noose on DACA, we all should be focused on getting people registered to vote. Because if you're a DACA recipient, you can't vote, but you can get people who love you to vote, people who understand what you're about to vote, people who know that you spent 10 years trying to be a good, honest American, showing people in Washington how it would be if you were put in the DACA program, what it would be like. Work on people who know you, see you, understand you, get them registered, get them voting for a Congress that would take responsible action. You know, Hart-Celler happened in 1965. That Hart-Celler Act, almost 60 years ago. And it can happen again. And that's the hope. Stage an undocumented parade, get people to vote, get a responsible Congress in there that will make Hart-Celler happen again. Okay, a couple more things. Kind of interesting today. And then I'll get into my litany of people that I want to thank. I've just mentioned some of you already at top. But now, maybe we should celebrate Wayne Shung. He's an Asian American activist who fights not for Asian Americans, but for those even less fortunate. He fights for the animals. In 2017, look at this. Shung, the founder of Direct Action Everywhere, also called DXE, joined 4 other people to enter a factory farm in Utah owned by Smithfield Food, a major pork producer in the U.S. owned by China. That's right, owned by China. Smithfield, yeah. They're owned by China. They own our pork. Shung, his purpose was to document what Smithfield does in these farms all across the United States, in this case, Utah, the horrible conditions of the animals at the farm. And then he saw 2 piglets in distress. Shung rescued them and even gave them names. But then Shung was arrested along with his cohorts. 3 of those who were with Shung reached plea deals since then. Remember, 2017 is when it happened. And just last week, 5 years later, Shung and co-defendant Paul Picklesheimer were in court facing 2 counts of burglary, a 3rd-degree felony, and 1 count of theft. These are serious charges. Now, 10 years of jail time, that's what they were facing. If you were watching Monday Night Football, not like a week ago, on October 3rd, ESPN censored an activist who ran out in the field holding a pink flare and wore a shirt with the words "Right to Rescue." I mean, Peyton Manning and his brother were talking about a streaker. No streaker. These were animal rights activists. But they censored it. ESPN censored. They wouldn't show you the image of the... Now, maybe they got a policy. Free speech, but they shut them down. Corporate free speech, no. ESPN censored. No one wants you to know about this. The corporate media doesn't. The corporate animal farmers. Even the FBI was called into this case for a time to try to put a lid on this and to hurry this case along. Shung, representing himself last week, argued that the piglets were abandoned property and of no value to Smithfield, worth about $42.50 each. Shung told the jury, "We are not here to be burglars or thieves. We were there to give aid to dying animals." And this was his closing pitch. The close, an emotional close. If you defend our right to give aid to dying animals, defend the right of all citizens to aid dying and sick and injured animals, there's something that will happen in this world, Shung said. Companies will be a little more compassionate to the creatures under their stewardship. Governments will be a little more open to animal cruelty complaints. And maybe, just maybe, a baby pig like Lily won't have to starve to death on the floor of a factory farm. I mean, I saw it on Twitter. It was moving. It was convincing. The jury found both Shung and Picklesheimer not guilty on all the charges. One of the felony counts already dismissed by the judge. Not guilty, the jury said, on everything else. You see, there's hope. Justice can happen for piglets. They can happen for Asian American activists like Wayne Shung. If it can happen for pigs, it can happen for Asian Americans. It can happen for the rest of us. That was something. An animal rights victory over the weekend in Utah. I want to take some time to talk more about Draymond Green. You know, I like to talk about Draymond Green. Listen to show 406, and, you know, I had a lot to say about that. Draymond Green on Friday, and the sucker punch. Sucker punch is like, all right, Draymond Green goes off in the corner. Jordan Poole is looking the other way. Draymond gets in his face. Jordan Poole pushes him off, right? Draymond reacts to the push off and hits Jordan Poole in the face. It was called an altercation. It was a punch. It was a sucker punch because Jordan Poole was not expecting the wrath of Draymond Green at a Golden State Warriors practice last week. Happened on Wednesday, got leaked out. People talked about it Thursday. Then Friday, the video was leaked out. Over the weekend, people were reacting. The video showing the punch showed how much everyone is trying to downplay this. But why downplay workplace violence? Because that's what it was. Workplace violence. The punch was a clear battery, chargeable. The Warriors preferred to keep it in-house, but that's a bad look. Keep it in-house? That sounds like Jeffrey Dahmer. And they got really mad, the Warriors, that this tape was even leaked. The fact is, workplace violence between the larger Green, 6'6", 230, and a much smaller Poole, who's 6'4", 194, 2 inches shorter, 40 pounds lighter, shouldn't be so casually dismissed. Not in a workplace of millionaires. I mean, these guys are millionaires. They should be acting responsibly. And this isn't just a boys, just boys between boys kind of thing. It's not an ordinary workplace. For many people in society, young people specifically, what happens in an NBA locker room carries role model type weight. I mean, is this the message the NBA wants to send to the world? Bullying is okay if kept in-house? The NBA has a conscience. 2 weeks ago, it fined Phoenix Suns owner $10 million and banned him for the game for 1 year for workplace misconduct involving anti-black racist as well as anti-women, misogynistic, and sexual comments. Bob Sarver, Phoenix Suns owner, $10 million, banned for a year. Is beating up another smaller, younger fellow basketball millionaire more acceptable than anti-black racist, anti-female, misogynistic, sexual comments? Funny. Draymond Green was outspoken about getting Sarver suspended, getting Sarver out, being transparent. And now here's Green. Over the weekend, he apologized. Saturday, he apologized to everyone and to Poole especially. Then he said he was taking a few days off to work on himself. It's going to take a lot more than using the meditation app LeBron James pushes. The NBA needs to weigh in quickly. And if it says nothing, then the message is that punching a smaller person is okay. Just keep it in-house. This is really disappointing because you hear regular commentators say, "Oh, this is nothing. These are big alpha males. This is big. These are big guys. They do it all the time." One coach is on record as saying, "I've seen 20 fights happen throughout my time." They happen. That doesn't mean they should. It doesn't mean you condone. Oh, it doesn't mean I condone it. Yeah, but you're not doing anything about it. I mean, that's the disconnect. People say, "Oh, this happens in sports. This is going to happen with alpha males." And then they say, but I don't condone it. I don't want it to happen. Okay, you don't want it to happen. Then clamp down on this and make an example of Draymond Green. They don't make an example of Draymond Green. Why? Because the Warriors think they can't win without him. And the NBA likes a star on the court and not in suspension. Because box office? Because he's a star? I mean, it's time for the NBA to say, look, we got to take action. I mean, remember when you kept things in-house? When you keep things in-house, it's what happens with the Catholic Church. And what they said about abusive priests. They just keep moving them around. It's what they say about U.S. gymnastics, about abusive coaches, about the Boy Scouts, about abusive troop leaders, about women's soccer, about abusive coaches again. And then the abuses were exposed. For the NBA and the Golden State Warriors. And look, I love the Warriors. I'm watching the Warriors all my life. I watched them when they played in the Civic Auditorium in San Francisco. The Rick Barry years. Rick Barry. The action that must be taken now is clear. They must condemn workplace violence. That's what this is. Condemn workplace violence unequivocally, please. I mean, I don't want to hear another jock sportscaster say, I don't condone this, but come on, this, it's a tough sport. This happened. No, this doesn't happen. I mean, do you see where people want to keep making excuses for bad behavior? Like they've made excuses for Harvey Weinstein. I mean, there's still kind of like a pecking order. Harvey Weinstein, bad. Louis C.K., not as bad? Well, I mean, it's still bad. It's still distasteful. But it's like in hockey, there's a difference between high sticking and, cold cocking somebody in the face. I mean, he's still got to sit in the penalty box. Draymond Green says he doesn't know how many days he's going to be gone. He hopes to play on the 18th, I believe, when the Warriors play the Lakers in the season opener. But I think Draymond Green needs to be gone for a while. And I would help him meditate. I will help Draymond Green meditate if he wanted to. I'll help Draymond Green meditate. I think it's important. Because look, Asian Americans in particular, Asian Americans love basketball. A lot of Asian Americans, Golden State Warrior fans. They were playing the Lakers on the weekend. LeBron was there. And you know that between Northern California and Southern California, you had maybe, I don't know, more than 60% of all basketball lovers who are Asian American in the United States paying attention to that game. Mostly trying to figure out what Draymond Green was going to do. Because it is a big deal. Because we know what violence is about. The Asian American community. The Asian American community knows you don't take violence lightly. Because if you do, you won't see the end of it. No, you won't. All right, I want to talk about, a lot has been made about Tommy Tuberville. I'm not going to get into Herschel Walker today. There's going to be Herschel stuff this week, a lot of other stuff this week. But I want to talk about Tommy Tuberville. Who's Tommy Tuberville? Tommy Tuberville is a former Alabama football coach. He's a Republican senator from Alabama. And here's the thing about Tommy Tuberville. He's a racist. And he went to a Trump rally in Minden, Nevada, which is to the east of Lake Tahoe. Nevada, very important state. And they're sending people all over. Republicans are sending people all over. And they're using different strategies. Tommy Tuberville's strategy yesterday was to go to the rally and talk about crime. And what he says, if you haven't heard it yet, will blow your mind.
They want crime because they want to take over what you got.
This is Tommy Tuberville saying they want crime. He's talking about Democrats. Democrats want crime because they want to take over what you got. That's what Tuberville says. Saying that Democrats want to take what you got. I mean, I'm trying to decipher this because Tommy Tuberville, who is a Republican senator, I believe speaks English. I believe it is his first language. But we have to break it down because he's not totally understandable.
They want crime because they want to take over what you got.
They want to take over what you got. They. They wanted to. Who is they? The It sounds like the Democrats, but he also has a little racist touch.
They want to control what you have.
They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have.
They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. Bullshit. They are not owed that.
They're not owed that. Oh, then he brings up reparations, and there are no reparations for Democrats. It's just reparations for black people. And this is Tommy Tuberville's racist rhetoric.
They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. Bullshit. They are not.
They want reparations because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. My goodness. He could have just said, crime is up. If you like Republicans, we'll fight crime. That would be a fair kind of, namby-pamby rhetorical way to say, I'm Republican, I'm white Republican Tommy Tuberville, and I want to fight crime like all my good Republican brothers, right? Instead, look at what he says.
They want crime because they want to take over what you got.
Oh, he wants to make it scary. They're going to take away what you have. These people. Who are these people? Oh, where is it?
They want to control what you have. They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. Bullshit. They are not owed that.
They are not owed that. Oh, man, he's drawing the line in the sand. Tommy Tuberville. This is Tommy Tuberville. This is a member of the Senate. This is what we're having a problem with. People who are Democrats or people who are on the left who want things for people, who want social justice. We're having trouble because there are too many people like Tommy Tuberville in the Senate, and they want their friends like Herschel Walker and other Republicans who won't stand up and put down this kind of racist rhetoric. That's the troubling thing with Tommy Tuberville. Essentially saying black people are criminals. Democrats want these black people who are criminals. That's who the Democrats are. They want reparations. Oh my God. What a stupid, convoluted rhetoric from a white Republican, Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville. But listening is believing.
They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. Bullshit. They are not owed that.
They're not owed that, he says. Oh my God. Got him whipped up. The people of Nevada, outside of Lake Todd, Minden, which is like south of Reno. I'm telling you, the midterms are coming up about a month away, and we are going to see America at its worst. We are going to see people nasty. And I understand, according to reports, there's going to be more stuff in the Herschel Walker case. Didn't pick on Herschel Walker today because there's a lot, but according to reports, there's going to be personal stuff about Raphael Warnock, the preacher, coming out this week. So everyone is taking their nasty pills, and this is why people are turned off to voting, turned off to democracy, turned off to all of this. It's sad. I'm sad. Here's one thing about being in San Francisco yesterday. I felt comfortable. Except for the damn Blue Angels and their sonic booming or subsonic. It's not true sonic boom. It was loud. But I felt comfortable there. It's my home. I felt that I didn't question if a person was Republican or Democrat. I just felt we're here in the city, we respect each other, except for parking. The people who were better were people with parking. If you didn't have parking, you had nothing. I mean, they talk about being unhoused, but how about unparked? Being unparked, that's bad. That is bad. That is bad. But watch out. I think we're going to see it. We're going to see a situation this week and till the very last day, the midterms, we're going to see America at its ugliest. Gird up for it. Here's how you prepare. You prepare by honoring Indigenous Peoples Day. Go to my column on ALDEF, aaldef.org/blog. Read up on my Indigenous Peoples Day column. I talk about Indigenous, vegan justice, DACA, the NBA's workplace violence problem. Check it out. All coming up, or all there, aldef.org/blog. And don't forget, once again, I'm in this play. It's called The Conductor. I want you to be in it because if it's successful as a reading, they will consider bringing us all to New York to do it at the Theater for the New City. Right now, it's just a staged reading. I'm out here on the West Coast. We got some New York actors, Brooklyn, a good cast, and it is a good story about what happens when you're woke or if you're too woke. What happens when you get a sense of what history is about. A history that shows how people of color have been mistreated. It's not critical race theory, it's just history. The Conductor is a play that will challenge you. A real story about a real America. Somewhat fictional when you deal with the international intrigue used in the story, but everything else, the history, is real. The Conductor is the name of the show. Tickets, Thursday, October 13th, Friday the 14th, Saturday the 15th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern, Sunday. October 16th, matinee at 3 p.m. 212-254-1109. Call the box office, 212-254-1109, or go to the website, theaterforthenewcity.net, for Ishmael Reed's The Conductor. All right, now, I said I was going to do this. I'm going to do it. I mean it. I'm going to acknowledge all the people who saw my thing. If you saw my thing, now I need my screen back. Okay, so I want to say thank you to all my friends who said, Lorraine said happy birthday just now. That's like live. Valacoba said happy birthday. Val, hi. We had, let's see, all my cousins, Frankie and Tessie, hi, happy birthday, they said. And yeah. That's me live. My God, I played myself live. Don't want to do that. Oh my God, I can't play that. I'm punching the wrong. I want to say hi to my friend John Trasvina. He said, so this is why Filipino American History Month is in October. It's Emil's birthday. Okay, only partially true. Only partially true. Sue Oldfather said, happy birthday. God, Sue, one of my oldest friends. If I was Episcopal, I'd go to her church. She is an Episcopal mother, I guess. You know, you call priests fathers. I guess you call female mothers. I would go to her church. Charles Valarosa, thank you very much. Sal Mulata, thank you very much, Sal. I love the mulataa. Got to get the ta'a, not the ta'e, the ta'a out there. You said Pat, my cousin, Alicia, Susan, my cousin Susan, Marilyn Jones, my travel buddy, who thinks anything with durian is funny. How's that? That's a good kind of travel buddy. Says, just say, I have some durian here, and she like just keeps her distance. Further than COVID. Just say, I got durian. My cousin Minda out in the Middle East. Thank you very much. My cousin, the very first cousin from the Philippines, my cousin Ida, who when I went to the Philippines for the first time in 1983, she was my tour guide. And since then, she came to America to be a teacher, and now she went back to the Philippines. She's living the life. This is called living the life in the Philippines. You got the American pension in dollars in the Philippines. Thank you for the wishes. Joey Tobacco in New York. Hi, Joey. Thank you for your wishes. Benny Lino, thank you. Thank you for your wishes. Esther, Filipino American Press Club, thank you for your wishes. We got, just everyone. Linda, my cousin Linda. Actually, she's not my cousin. She's my niece, and she calls me uncle. Okay, niece Linda, I accept. Thank you. Linda and Tomas and Mary Lou and Shirley and, oh man, Verhill and Rotsup Jeng. Rotsup, thank you, Rotsup. Lydia sends me an aloha cake. And Catherine. Oh, the other Kathy Guillermo. Not the one I'm married to a Kathy Guillermo, but this is the other Kathy. Kathy with the C. Okay. Blessings to you back. Brilliante, thank you. Oh, people included pictures. Sonia Zhao says, parking in San Fran. Yep, the best gift. Happy birthday to you, Emil Amok. Thank you very much, Sonia. Happy birthday. Thank you to Kiki. Thanks, Kiki. Alan, my friend Alan in Virginia Beach and all his buddies. God, Terry. Thank you. Thank you for your birthday greetings. James, we said James Sobreto's name already. All these people I know from all these different ways. Frankie and Tom and Helen and who else? Dan and Linda and, oh my God. I don't have that many friends. I really only on Facebook, right? Only on Facebook. I've got, and I got some friends who didn't say happy birthday. Oh, I did. What did I do wrong? They didn't say happy birthday. And I got all my friends on LinkedIn who said happy birthday. Thank you. Look, this is the highest and best use, right? Oh, Joe Fragola said happy birthday. Joe, Joe and I go way back, broadcast buddies. Because all the belateds are coming in. I got Paul and Vanjie, Helen Workman, Gary from Harvard. Hi, Gary. Thank you. Ron, Nolan, my buddy Nolan, James Yee, my AAJA buddy, Wilfred from Hawaii, my friend Wilfred. We played golf together. Tim, my Jimmy Baba Muck contact. Man, he's a great researcher. My friend Richard Prince, Eric Grunder, Paul Igasaki, Paul, Paul's a great guy. Asian American civil rights defender, protector. We sat together during the Denver I mean, just happenstance. We're together and we sat at the Denver convention, 2008. Obama's convention. Who was going to win? All the drama, right? Was it going to, Obama, Hillary? And then the politician who really caught our eye, Tammy Duckworth. Tammy Duckworth. I'm telling you, we said, she's got it. And look, 14 years later, she's got it. People talking about her. I'm telling you, the long tail of a political career, Tammy Duckworth, she has risen. And it's something, every time I see Paul, I say, Duckworth. Paul Igasaki. Eric Grunder, Richard Prince, my buddy Joyce Sarkeesian, probably the only Indonesian friend. My only Indonesian friend in the bunch. But I've known Joyce since second grade. My goodness. Since second grade. One of my first Asian American friends, Irma Herrera. Check her out. She's got her show at the Marsh. I got my friend Paul Sussman. He's got a show at Stageworks. Sarah Chalon, my French teacher. I had a lot of French teachers, but Sarah, she was, well, can't forget old Joan Shelley, the late Joan Shelley. But Sarah, thank you, Sarah. And she had a birthday too. Happy birthday to you, Sarah. Frankie Veracruz, my old buddy. Frankie. Thank you, Frankie. Yelena, an old coaching student buddy. And then some of the first people to say happy birthday to me. My good buddy Isidro. From Illinois. Chip Jones in Washington, D.C. Mike Sullivan, Mr. Indiana. So all of you, thank you very much. It means a lot to get your greetings. If I missed you, if I inadvertently left you out, it was inadvertent. I didn't mean it. But thank you. Thank you for being here on the show. Thank you for hanging out. On October 10th, the day after. Hey, look, and it's my pal Val. Val, who is storytelling classmate at the Filipino American National Historical Society Museum. Val Acoba. Hi, Val. Thanks, Val. All right, so the highest and best use of social media. The birthday greetings. Hey, one more time. Ishmael Reed's new play, The Conductor. Go to theaterforthenewcity.net/shows/the-conductor. Check them out. Check it out. Go online. Get your tickets. I've got a small part in the play. I mean, you don't see it because, that brown guy Emil is going to be in it. You see it because there's some enlightening stuff here about American history and the state of race, how it's at play today. Ishmael Reed's new play, The Conductor. Okay. All right. So, and with that, I will say thank you for joining me on show 407. What does an Asian American think? Hopefully I told you. Check out all the shows on amok.com, on YouTube, the Emil Guillermo channel. Yeah. Facebook, fb.com/emilguillermo.media, on Twitter @Emil Amok. And that's it. That's it for our show. Regular listeners of our show know that I like a little meditation. Oh, one of the best gifts. I wasn't big on gifts. If you just said hi to me on social media, that was it. But one of my friends gave me this great gift, which was a bull Nandi. A bull Nandi, Nandi. A bull Nandi is a bull named Nandi. It's the bull vehicle for Shiva, the god Shiva, who rides Nandi. And the idea is to not go anywhere. I did some research, some meditative research. The goal is not to go anywhere, but to sit and wait and do nothing. Yeah, do nothing. To be meditative and to be judicious. I started meditating in earnest about 2.5 years ago. And then more seriously, since then. And I always like to do a little meditation at the end. Let me share a couple of just thoughts. A meditative thought. I am not a body. I am free. That's a mind blower. I first heard that from A Course in Miracles, which is part meditation, part Christian, part, written by two Jews and totally non-dogmatic. But you read those thoughts and in the workbook for students, and the idea that I am not a body, I am free. Oh my goodness, what a thought to have come up on your birthday. Because you realize that you aren't part of this material world. You're part of the spiritual world. And if you just meditate on that, I am not a body, I am free. You transcend all those things holding you back in your body. The excuses, oh, this aches, this pain, this. I am not a body. I am free. It's my kind of liberation meditation. I'll tell you. I saw that and I said, oh, I got to meditate on that. I'm not a body. I am free. I am not the years. I'm not the age. I am free. I am not my birthday. I am free. Something to think about. We always end with a little loving self-kindness meditation. And so, as I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. Emil Guillermo here. Back in tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific, live. Catch the replays, amok.com. Till then, Mahal Kita.